we have Mr. Muhammad Ali, but before him, I think that right now he went to just Sheikh Tahir Road. So there was some disconnection, but before that, by the time he takes some rest, maybe that we can invite Mr. Mustafa Janeer, who is the managing director of Mustafa and Almana.
Good afternoon. Actually, I was the last batsman, but I had been asked to, come one wicket before. In fact, I had been asked to talk on the legal challenges of FDI in India and UAE. I don't know my presentation is there or still working on. This is what we always do. Even the last minute, we prepare. Do I have the... Anyway, today morning was a very pleasant day for all of us. But Dubai has again amazed all of us. Dubai has opened the first 3D plant building, 3D printed building. This is the first in the world. And as rightly said by our beloved, visionary, legendary leader, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, what he said, His Highness said during the inauguration was, we implement what we plan. We don't believe in theories. In a rapidly changing world, innovation is the name of the game, and we are here to lead the world. Given that perspective, you can see the amazing growth of this emirate, Dubai as well as UAE, a 42-year-old country, and I am comparing it with a 200-year-old legal system and a 42-year-old country. The FDI going to India and going to Dubai. What are the legal challenges? So I need 24 hours to talk about it, but within 15 minutes I don't think. But I'm not going to talk about the challenges. I'm going to see in a very positive way. A country, let me talk about first my home country, India, where a legal system was brought 200 years back by the Britishers, and we adopted it, common law. And with that came a lot of, precedents, and of course, that is why I did it. And we have our Chief Justice, Honorable Chief Justice of India, T.S. Thakur, telling the country, my judges are dispensing justice under the trees. I have 16,000 judges at my disposal. And as from today, he made a statement actually 1 month before. As from today, there are about 3 crore 28 lakhs cases pending in the courts. And in the normal course, it will take 300 years to clear the backlog. That is where the legal system in the country stands. But don't worry, investors, this 3 crore 28 lakhs cases, I don't think the cases pending in the courts are nothing related to FDI. Of course, there are cases. Last month, Mumbai High Court allowed Emaar to demerge. Emaar remains demerged from MGF. with a great expectation, IMA went to India in 2005. And they were involved in legal wrangles with Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, whatever it is, 2010. So what investors should look at when they enter to India? Be it IMA, be it Etisalat, two major corporations went to India as per their papers. So, what investors, foreign investors, be it institutional or individual, should look at India is the entry strategy. I'll tell you a very interesting story of the Netherlands business people, how they do. We have about 10 to 15 case studies wherein the Netherlands businesses who entered India was done in a very systematic way. One of the corporations, I don't want to identify the name because there are some confidential agreements we have, every non-disclosure agreements. What they did was they actually asked the embassy in Delhi to find out how to enter. Earlier, people were entering India for cheaper labor costs. But today, as on today, investors are looking at India for better talent at a reasonable price. So what they did was they asked the embassy to find out whether there are any partners or what are the possibilities. Now entering India, FDI to India, and FDI to India is what? Or any country is what? It is not that investing there, producing something, manufacturing something and exporting. And FDI means when you invest and when you manufacture something, it should be consumed by the local markets as well. So when foreign investors come there, what they find is the prices are not matching with the masses. 1.2 billion people there, so not matching. Then they'll have to adjust the pricings. So this is what this Netherlands company did. They studied the market, they designed their products, and now that company is a very successful one. Tim Cook was in India last week. And I was amazed by the speech made by, not by him, K.T. Rao, the Minister for IT and Industries, Telangana. He said our state is a startup state. But what we have introduced is a system wherein anyone starting any venture, we have given directions to all the government departments, all the approval committees, 15 days. On submitting the papers, 15 days, you should clear. And he told the investors, if you are not getting on the 16th day the approvals, please understand that you have got approval. This is the amazing thing which I heard from India. Last month, our Honorable MSME Minister was here, Sri Kalyan Misraji. So I had an opportunity to interact with him. He was also talking about FDI. I said, sir, we are ready to do that. We are ready to facilitate that. But we need assurance on 2C. He said, what is 2C? I have heard about PG, 4G. What is this 2C? I said, sir, capital and compliance. He said, when you say FDI, you should bring the capital. I said, yes, sir, we are ready to bring in capital. But what is the assurance? Vodafone has come, Etisalat has come, everyone is coming, then at some point of time, laws are being enacted so as to block them, which is not good. Parliament enacts special ordinances or passes special laws so as to overcome Supreme Court decisions, which is not good. He said, yes, I will definitely speak to Ministry of Law and everything concerned. Don't worry, Mr. Vice Chancellor, I am a very small person. I am running a very small consulting firm. I talk on behalf of India. We know that 1.3 billion, 1.2 billion people are there. We know it's huge. And in India, legal challenges, not when Government of India says, Government of India, since our federal system, we have state governments, we have rules, we have regulations, but still, there is a way. There are things happening in India. We have now a huge project coming up in south of India where the smart city is coming up. It's not the 100 smart cities which is being introduced by Government of India. The smart city project is actually an initiative or a joint venture between Dubai Holdings, which is a Government of Dubai entity, and Government of Kerala. It is coming up in a 246 acres SEZ, where the investment is $1 billion. $1 billion development is coming. It was inaugurated on, the first phase was inaugurated on February 21st. We were also lucky to be part of it, because as a law firm, we have been allowed to set up the first legal innovation center in Asia, Africa, and Middle East in smart city project. We are all talking about innovation. In every field there is innovation, but legal still remains in our magistrates courts, municipal courts, district courts, sub courts, high courts. Now, compliance and corporate governance actually has to do with the law more than anything else. Executives, who are the bureaucrats or the IAS and IPS officers, are implementing authorities. Actually, the rules are being made by the legislatures, be it parliament or the assembly, and when it comes to any roadblock, then only we go to the court. But when we talk about law, everyone thinks about only law, only court. Whereas we have a tendency to see law as a negative object. But actually it is not. It's a positive object. Because without legal, you can't do anything. So be it within the law, be it tax, be it compliance, be it permissions. If you do a structured and a planned investment to India, I think there is nothing to stop any investor to have benefits and profits from there. Now coming to UAE, there are legal impediments. Also there are fantastic legal infrastructures. I would like to tell you, Dubai is the only place in the world, I emphasize, only place in the world where two different codes from two different legal systems operates. We have Dubai codes, which is a civil law code, and we have a common law code in DIFC codes. Now, what is this common law and civil law? Actually, India, being a part of Commonwealth, we follow common law. And UAE, being an Islamic country, actually has taken source from Sharia laws as well as from Egyptian laws. Then Egyptian law was based on French law, which was following civil law system. So, UAE laws, I should say, it is more or less in tune with maybe French legal system or European legal system than to common law system. And the level of legal awareness amongst the investors in UAE is in a very, I should say, very minimal level. And recent survey says that there is about 18% investors seek legal advice when they enter UAE. That's on the global level. But when it comes to the Indian, actually that is more shocking. It stands at mere 4%. We have designed a platform called Destination Dubai Legal Route for Investments, where we were actually projecting the fantastic legal infrastructure Dubai offers to the investors. Mustafa Nalman, I should say 2 words about our firm also. We are an Indian origin international global consulting firm. We started as a full service legal practice in India. We were very successful. Normally successful lawyers from India never venture out of India. While we started our firm in the year 1992, and within 4 years we could become the most promising young law firm in South India. And I think it was just an extended thing to happen. I think that's what fate has brought us here. The first Dubai Shopping Festival, actually we came to see Dubai. And we found that there's a huge Indian population living in this part of the world who may require some support or assistance back home in India. Because at that time when we came here, people said, no, what court? Nothing, there is no court here. No, you don't go to court and all this. So I said, how can it be? Such a fantastic place, such a fantastic infrastructure. How can it be a place without a court? I said, no, definitely there will be court. So I found out there is court, there was a proper system in place, and everyone was legally disciplined and working and living very happily. So I said that I am not required for them to serve here. I may require them to serve back home in India, because that is where people were having problems. So this is with this concept we started. So Dubai has made us into a consulting firm, because when we started looking into communities, it was rather not a legal only people were required. They were requiring guidances, they were requiring directions. So we started the first this thing as a joint venture, and then we moved to consulting firm. Then we marched to UK. We started in 2010 in London, and we are now entered US in 2014. So we stand as a small global Indian consulting firm, and with a very strong legal full service presence in India. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it was my privilege to talk to you, and I thank the organizers for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I'm sure between UAE and India, there is going to be a lot more bilateral investments and relationships going further ahead, as our leaders of both our country, our dynamic prime minister, who had taken the country to the level next, and also the rulers, innovative thinking, thought leaders, or the kind-hearted, benevolent leaders of UAE. All of them will be making a good world for living, and a happy and a peaceful living. And I also want to tell you UAE now have a ministry for happiness and a minister for happiness.
Oh, yeah.
With this, I wish you all happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mustafa.